because what happens is when you're in a creative flow state, you're in that flow state for a certain length of time.
Sure.
So usually a creative flow state can it really varies based on the person. It also varies based on what food you're eating, based on how much water you're drinking. Like there's all these things that deal with our energy we don't think about that actually
Yeah.
deal with our creative process and our flow quite significantly. Because if you're feeling fatigued after 10 minutes of writing, then is it really because you're fatigued from the subject matter itself? Or
Mm,
are you fatigued from something else that's outside of you? And that's really what I think is so fascinating about thinking about creativity in terms of the writing process, because when we're writing and when we're in that flow state and when that creative energy is flowing, we're usually really happy to be there, right?
oh, absolutely.
If you want
Yeah.
that, if you're interested in writing about that subject, then that flow state can last for quite a long time. I know for me, when I'm writing, I do a really good 90-minute segments. Like
How
that's a
much?
really
Okay.
good time for me. And I always tell people, I recommend, time yourself and see how long, don't look at the timer necessarily, but when you start feeling that fatigue, start looking at the timer and see approximately how long it's been. Well, I did that multiple times, numerous different occasions on different projects, and it was always right around an hour and a half that I
Oh my
felt,
gosh, that's cool.
okay,
That's
that's,
cool. You've kind of
yeah,
discovered that little bit of a code for yourself.
exactly. But I think everybody can do that, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think that's really important. And that's one of the things I always tell. That's also partially that logical part that I always talk about in my coaching and in my ghostwriting process is you have to kind of understand what your rhythm is with your creative flow, because otherwise we have no idea how to time your project. Absolutely no idea. If you have
Oh,
no idea how long it's going to take you to write a LinkedIn post, and you have no idea how long it's going to take you to write a chapter after the outline, that's a whole other discussion on how to write a book and what to do first, second, and third, and we can get into that at some point or in a different discussion.
sure.
But I really emphasize the idea of kind of understanding those flow states in your creative zone of genius and understanding what your relationship is with writing creativity, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does make sense.